UNDP estimates that India loses over $2 billion a year because of the immigration of computer experts to the US. Indian students going abroad for their higher studies cost India a foreign exchange outflow of more than 10 billion US dollar annually.
हाँ, so दोस्तों ये है हमारे देश का एक कड़वा सच. Now why are most of these Indians not in India but in the US and UK? So today what we'll do is we'll go a little more in depth to analyze this issue of our country, the brain drain issue. And we will welcome all our friends over here who are joining us to this most interesting show. और मैं हूं आपका दोस्त एंड होस्ट जयंत कृपलानी और इसी विषय में चर्चा करने के लिए आज मैं वेलकम करना चाहूंगा स्वामी बोधमायानंद जी, हु इज द डायरेक्टर ऑफ द विवेकानंद इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ ह्यूमन एक्सीलेंस इन द रामकृष्ण मठ हैदराबाद. और उनका साथ देंगे डॉक्टर पुषौन भारद्वाज with the most vibrant and intelligent youth of this country. Dr. Bhardwaj is here because in his case, it's not been just a brain drain. It's been a circular drain. He went abroad, settled there, spent 14 years, and has now come back. Welcome, Dr. Bhardwaj, welcome, Swamiji, and welcome all of you to this edition of Vivekananda Answers. Friends, मैं बात कर रहा था brain drain के बारे में. But see, you guys are young, you're young professionals, or some of you are yet to enter into your professional life. Now, I'm eager to know कि आप सब इस बारे में क्या सोचते हैं? Yes, sir. Any ideas? What do you think of the brain drain?
Yeah, hi, I'm Portia. I have one opinion here. That is, our government spends a huge amount of money in IIT for engineers, MBBS, doctors. And after education, after completing their education, they fly away to foreign countries, to abroad. So, in my opinion, it's a huge loss for our country. What do you guys think?
I have a point to add to this. मेरा नाम कार्तिकेय है. हमारी जो गवर्नमेंट है वो बहुत सारा पैसा और बहुत सारा मतलब रिसोर्स जो है वो वेस्ट करती है फैंसी इवेंट्स और उनके सेलिब्रेशंस पे. अगर इतना ही पैसा अगर हमारे यूथ के इक्वल एम्प्लॉयमेंट, अगर इक्वल एजुकेशन और अपॉर्चुनिटीज देने में अगर वो लगा दें तो शायद इस इशू को रोका जा सकता है, अकॉर्डिंग टू मी, विच इज समवेयर वी आर फेलिंग एज अ नेशन.
I think I also agree with her that our government invested a lot in ITs and IIMs and created skills. But what happened after that, that is that the government didn't shift in investing where they could create jobs. So after passing out from IT and IIMs, these people have nowhere to go. So instead, if our government or the institutions, they reduce the red tape and encourage young entrepreneurs to create new business in India, not only will Indian skilled people not go abroad, but I think even people from abroad will come to India to use their skills. And this will not only foster good relations with us, but it will improve our economy, I think.
3 brilliant observations. Thank you for those. And I'm sure you've put a lot of thought behind this. But I'm going to take these thoughts to a higher authority. Swamiji, what do you think of what they have said?
Oh, it quite interesting observations made by them. But there are certain institutions in India, as you said, the foreign students also may come for here to study. For example, there is Symbiosis in Pune, which started with this idea that the foreign students who are not able to get that much of education there or facilities, they also can come and have a blend with the Indian youth and develop the cultures, both sides. And there are a couple of other institutions in Hyderabad here and there where this kind of symbiosis is going on. In one of the institutions where Dr. Kalam was speaking in the Ramakrishna Mission some time back, the same question was put about brain drain by one student of 12th standard. He says it's a wave that went away from India in the 70s and the 80s due to political reasons or economic reasons or this one. But now a new wave has come where all the Indians are coming back and some foreigners also are coming back, inspired by the Indian culture, etc. So there is kind of balance shift now, which we'll have to observe carefully and try to rectify it at the right time.
That is one concern that you're addressing over here, but Portia's concern was different, that this investment that is made, heavy investment that is made into our students, and the people abroad get the benefit of this. Would you like to comment on that, Dr. Bhardwaj?
Yeah, it's not entirely like that. I mean, yes, the brains are draining; they're going abroad, but if you take the whole thing in the context that these people who are professionals, they earn more abroad, and there is a huge amount of remittance that comes. The other good side of brain drain, that it improves the education system, like the people who are going abroad, more and more such professionals are being produced. One classic example is the case of the nursing system in Philippines, because Philippines is one of the highest suppliers of trained nurses to the United States. And if I am not wrong, the number of nursing schools increased from around 17 in the 50s to around 150 in the 70s. And so that fosters education, and that means that brings more revenue to the local system as well. So it's not entirely, and a part of these people, including me, who had migrated, they come back to their home country with newer skills and newer ideas. So it's not entirely a one-way traffic, if you look at that way.
Now, Swamiji, when Vivekananda went abroad, it was quite a shock for him, I think, the first time he went abroad, and his acceptance by them over there. Now, he had a strange set of experiences while he was there. In his mind, merge West with East. Is it something that perhaps Dr. Bhardwaj has done, or something that the other students might also do, and some new form would generate from that? Would you like to?
Swamiji was a multifaceted personality. After studying the entire conditions, the necessities of India, the technology, where we lacked, the technology was lacking, the team spirit was lacking, the self-confidence was lacking, then he had that another perspective, the glorious West and the things that he had heard in college and with people around. So he said, let me take this message there, spread this message of Vedanta there, and get the best of the West here. That is why he said beautifully, what India wants is a combination of modern science with Vedanta. Vedanta is the meditation, the values and the culture and the dharma. Combine it with Western science, and that would do a great deal of good to India. On the way going to America, very few people know this, Swami Vivekananda had a lot of interaction with Jamshedji Nasaronji Tata, the pioneer of Tata steel industry. That time itself, Swamiji wanted an institution in India where science and meditation will shake hands. He inspired Tata to start Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore.
Yes, that's...
That is the Tata Institute, which is called, in Bangalore. And Tata donated 28 lakhs in 1898 and invited Swami Vivekananda to become the first director. So that was the genesis. How the knowledge of the West, the practical application of the sciences should be brought, and the meditative sciences here should be merged together. Then alone, India will become once again the teacher of the world, as it was during Nalanda and Takshashila time.
Okay, one last question for you, or maybe not the last question, but today, if you had the opportunity and you were young, whatever you were, 18 or 19 when you went abroad, today if you were 18 or 19, would you take the same step?
I will probably.
You would probably.
I would probably, yes. Because I always believe that you must see in any specialty, in any subspecialty, to go and see how things are done in different parts of the world.
Yes.
Because that enriches your experience in a huge way. And then you can decide to come back and practice it in your local setting. But yes.
Just to enhance his point of view of gaining experience, let me go back to Swami Vivekananda, which he says in one of his letters and later on in his conversations, beautifully puts it. He wanted, during his lifetime itself, to send a band of young students, young Indians, to Japan and learn from the Japanese the art of living and the art of working.
Aye.
During his time, it could not be fulfilled. Later on, Japan also became independent, free from the Second World War, and they had their own problems. Why? Because during Swamiji's time, when he was going to Chicago, the ship stopped in Tokyo, and he saw by that time the Japanese were so bright, so patriotic, so loving. He says even the Japanese doll would talk about Japan. That was that feeling which they had at that time, 1893. Then 1944, Hiroshima, Nagasaki bombing. Then later, how they came back as electronic superpower.
Patriotism and brain drain are contradictory in any way?
No, those who are going abroad go with that heart, go with that feeling. Don't just leave your motherland away and say everything is bad and dirty and...
All right, thank you very much, Swamiji. I hope all of you have taken some lessons out of this thing. How many of you would go abroad if you had the chance?
I would like to.
You would like to? You would? Anybody at 3? How many more? 4, 5, 6? They haven't been listening much to us, I think.
They'll have to think over that.
Well,
Sir,
that
sir,
brings us to the end of...
I have one.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, my question goes to Dr. Bharadwaj. Sir, I recently came to know that you have 2 budding daughters. So, okay, so when they grow up, they might want to go to abroad for further studies. So, as a father and as a professional, what would you advise to them?
Well, as a father, my advice will be straightforward. First of all, be a good human being. And with regard to their profession, what they would like to choose, where they would like to pursue their education, I would leave it to them. Because that is, I think, we were born in a family which was middle class to lower middle class, and we didn't have much choice. If I said that I would like to take up cricket as my profession, in fact, indeed, one of my coaches had offered my father that, give your son to me.
And he beat you with the cricket bat,
And
your father.
My father said, buzz off. But I can afford, like if my daughter wants to become a ski instructor, be it, I have no problem.
Okay, there you are. I think what he's saying is he has managed to earn the capability of giving his children the freedom that perhaps your father couldn't give to you. Well, I think that brings us to the end of this edition of Vivekananda Answers. There were many answers and there were a whole slew of questions. I hope some of them in answers. It's time now to start building yourselves, create yourselves, be the piece of rock that makes a spark and convert the spark into a fire and then inspire others. Help them to be another piece of rock. They will carry on that fire which you ignited and handed over to the next generation. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Why? Be and make. That's what this is all about. मिलेंगे आप सभी से नेक्स्ट एपिसोड में जहां पे हम ऐसे ही बहुत सारे मुद्दों पर बातचीत करेंगे. तब तक लिव हेल्थी, बी रिस्पॉन्सिबल एंड हमारी ओर से स्वामी जी नमस्कार एंड डॉक्टर भारद्वाज, it was great having you over.